If you've ever stood in the middle of a movie night, squinting at a screen that just can't keep up with the detail you want, you know the feeling of hesitation that comes before you click buy. You want something that will actually live up to the hype, that won't become a dusty accessory after a few weeks, and that feels like a solid investment rather than a gamble on a list of specs. That's the exact spot where a 4K UHD laser projector like LG's newest model tries to make its case. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. When I started digging into projector options for home theaters and small business meeting rooms, the first thing I asked myself was, how often will I really use the device, and under what lighting conditions? A projector that shines brightly in a dark basement is a different animal from one that can still throw a decent picture onto a white wall in a sunlit living room. The LG laser projector promises 5,000 lumens, enough on paper to beat most home theater models, and it touts a true 4K resolution of 38402/160. Those numbers look impressive, but the real test is whether they translate into usable image quality the way you'd actually watch a show or deliver a presentation. One of the biggest hidden trade-offs in any laser projector is the balance between brightness and color accuracy. The LG unit uses a mercury-free laser light source, which means you won't be swapping out lamps every few years, and the color gamut stays stable over time. In my experience, that stability is a huge win for anyone who plans to leave the projector on for long movie marathons or use it for regular business demos. The downside is that laser light can sometimes produce a slightly cooler tone compared to a traditional xenon lamp. If your room already has a lot of bluish LED lighting, you might notice the picture leaning toward a cooler hue, which could make skin tones look a touch less natural. It's not a deal breaker, but it's something to keep in mind if color fidelity is mission critical for you. Installation is another area where the LG model tries to stand out. The lens shift range 20% horizontal and 50% vertical means you can mount the projector fairly high on a ceiling or low on a bookshelf and still get a rectangular image without keystone distortion. I tried setting it up in a small home office where the ceiling height forced a fairly steep angle. Thanks to the generous vertical shift, I could push the image up to the top of the wall without having to tilt the whole unit, which kept the throw distance short and the image size respectable. For people who don't want to fuss with a lot of mounting hardware, that flexibility is a real practical plus. The operating system is LG's webOS 6.0, usually associated with smart TVs. In practice, it feels like a stripped-down version of a TV interface, which is handy if you want to stream Netflix, YouTube, or other services straight from the projector without a separate media player. The remote is straightforward, and the on-screen UI loads quickly enough that you won't be waiting for apps to open while you're trying to settle in for a movie. For a home cinema setup that doubles as a casual gaming hub, the built-in Android apps and game streaming support are a nice bonus. However, if you're a power user who relies on a full-featured PC interface for presentations, you'll still need a separate source device, as the webOS experience doesn't replace a dedicated laptop or media server. Who should put this projector on their wish list? If you already have a dark room or can control ambient light, the 5,000 lumens will give you a crisp image that stays vivid even when you pull the curtains aside just enough to keep the room comfortable. Families that love weekend movie marathons, gamers who want a big screen experience without splurging on a high-end TV, and small business owners who need a reliable, low-maintenance display for client pitches will find a lot to love here. The laser source means you won't be buying replacement lamps, and the low maintenance promise is backed by the fact that laser diodes typically last 20,000 hours or more. In a year of moderate use, say, 3 nights a week, that's essentially a set and forget scenario. On the flip side, if you're looking for a projector to replace a primary TV in a bright living room, the 5,000 lumens might still fall short. Most reviewers agree that true HDR performance on a projector requires upwards of 10,000 lumens to combat reflections and maintain deep blacks. Even though the LG unit offers a 4K native resolution, the HDR impact will be muted under strong daylight. Likewise, folks who need a portable, battery-powered device for on-the-go presentations should look elsewhere. The LG projector is best suited for a semi-permanent installation, given its size and power requirements. One practical weakness that shows up once the unit is on the wall is the fan noise. Laser projectors are generally quieter than lamp-based models, but the cooling,